Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, classmates. So for today, I will be talking about the strategies in teaching poetry. So it is very important that as an English teacher, we should always have our own techniques on how we can teach the hidden meaning of each poem to our students. Because as an English teacher, we always have encountered different literary piece which is hard to understand in the first glimpse. So I have here 6 strategies. The first one is read it aloud a few times. So as a teacher, we have always encountered that different learning styles of our students in terms of reading poetry. So some may learn when they are reading silently, but mostly nowadays, readers can easily comprehend if they are reading it aloud. So reading aloud makes us better understand the real meaning of the poem. Because while we are reading the poem, the sound and the rhythm of it will help us to be more interested to know the message of the writer that he wanted us to know. So the spoken word is very powerful. Instead of just hearing what a collection of words sounds like in our head, when those words are spoken aloud, we are entering into the realm of performance and deeper engagement. So we are teachers, so we always the one who will lead our students. So before letting the students read the poem by their own, we should read it for them because there are times that students can encounter words wherein they can they can't pronounce. So it is very important to teacher to always lead the students, especially in terms of reading. So it is essential that reading aloud for the students many times or several times, it can help them to understand or to have an idea on how they can perform or they can read the poem with their own. So the next one is learn about the poet prior to the reading. So before reading a poem, it is good to search for the writer's background because we will have an idea on what are the reasons why he wrote the specific literary piece. So it is important to know the background of a writer because mostly the writer writes about their experiences, their moods, their life events, their family and relationships, as well as nature. So, learn as much as you can about the poet. Where and what time period did she or he live? Because understanding the time period is essential for us readers to draw conclusions about the poem's meaning. So it is very important to know first the background of each writers because maybe they have uh, they have in a situation wherein they wrote a poem that reflects their emotions. So the next one would be identify and define words students do not know. So we should always be the guide of our students. We should let them ask us in their queries. So in reading a poem, we can always encounter words which we can understand in the first glimpse. And I may suggest that if we are planning to read a poem, we should first install dictionaries because dictionaries are powerful in terms of words that we cannot easily understand. Dictionaries can answer it by the guide of the teacher as well. The students will enlighten about their queries that they may encounter in reading poem. So the next one is visualize the images, clarify words and phrases. So visualizing is when the author paints a picture in our head. Visualization brings the readers to life. It helps the students feel connected to the poem because they were able to see the characters and their actions as if they are part of the scene, and by this, they are becoming more involved. So, by letting the students visualize what is the real happening on the poem, they are being more engaged in the teaching learning process. So the next one would be teach figurative language to the students. So there are some poems wherein it uses simple words wherein we can easily understand. But there are some poems that have different meanings. Words have different meanings. So it is always important to teach our student the figurative language before we give the poem, for them to have a background on the different things that they may be encountered in reading a poem. So, understanding the poetic device will help the students to unlock the hidden meaning of a poem. So, this figurative language is, we can always encounter it in different poems. So, it is uh, important to have a background knowledge of it. So, figurative language are the following: alliteration, personification, metaphor, idiom, onomatopoeia, and the like. So, the next and the last one is evaluate the poem theme and allow your students' understanding to grow. So, themes includes death, honesty, loyalty, perseverance, and the like. So, theme is the main subject that is being discussed or described in a piece of writing. So, it is very important to know or to acknowledge the theme of each poem because we can get what is the real point of the writers, why why he write this kind of literary piece. So what is it all about? What's the point? That is the questions that answers the theme. So theme helps us to know and to mark in our mind what is the main subject of a poem that we have read. So that is the 6 strategies on how we can teach poetry effectively for to our students. So thank you very much for listening.